Bonjour, it's Chris Black, Jason Stewart. We are in Gay Paris, and it's feeling. I'm feeling a little crazy. I don't know about you, Jason, but we literally just got here and then sat in the lobby of the hotel for 2 hours or so because a hotel room has never been early in Paris in all of my years of coming here. They're, as I said to you in the lobby, their response is always "not possible." Is their response if early check-in is available?
Not possible. It ended up working out. I'm feeling a little psycho. Obviously, just got off the plane from Cali. Woke up Wednesday. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Went for a hike. Kind of pulled something in my leg. Kind of jogging down the hill too fast. So I have some travel pain.
Oh no! I know. I didn't know about this.
It's okay. I mean, it's not like. It's just like one of those things where you're walking around and you got a little bit of underlying soreness, but it's not going to
of course.
It's not going to keep me off the runways of Paris.
Okay, thank God. That's what I was worried about. Oh, that's what I was fucking worried about.
Thanks to our Loewe Familia for bringing us out. We got the little bag, we got the little flowers. Did you open up your little invite box that has a little item in there?
No, I didn't. Actually.
I think I have an inflatable lobster claw pouchette. Does that sound right?
That feels really good for you.
I know, right? It does.
As far as stuff that it's far of your cross section of interests, pouchette and pouchette and lobster are two things I think of when I think of you.
I haven't had enough time to really, crack this claw open and see what it is. It looks to be inflatable, and I'm like, oh damn, is this a leather flask? Couldn't be.
Oh wow, that would come in really handy. That would come in.
So one way or another, I'm gonna inflate it with something. Get some.
Why are you making
green
it
chartreuse in there?
Why does it make it sound like you're gonna piss in it? Why are you saying it like that?
I'm not gonna piss in this thing at all. That's not where my mind was going, but it seems like that's where yours is going.
That's where my twisted little head went. That's for sure. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Paris. I'm gonna try to hopefully. I mean, we're going to dinner tonight at 9, so at least we'll get to experience then. I feel like the temperature is right. It's there's no rain, which can be. But I told you I've never stayed on this side of the river, so it feels like a whole different microclimate over here.
Yeah, it's a little bit different over here on this side of the gray swamp. I really can't believe this is my first time in Paris. Isn't that so fucking weird?
I can't either. I mean, luckily you haven't had to interact with the people too much. That's the major problem because it is beautiful. It is beautiful. It's quite beautiful.
Until you got to talk to someone.
I mean, I almost had an altercation on the plane, but because sometimes when you take these flights that are quote unquote fashion flights, it's there's people so you kind of have to behave a little different.
Mm-hmm. It's like the old trick when you're about to prank one of your bros, you invite somebody that they have a crush on to be there whenever you pants them or whatever it is that you're going to do to them. So then they have to, control themselves in front of, you don't want to scare the host. You don't want to scare your crush away. So
you don't want to scare
the perfect crime. So you would have normally flipped out, got a sky marshal sent over to your row.
I wouldn't have flipped out. I've actually,
but since you're sitting next to Pyre Moss, you had to keep it chill. I
get it. Yeah, exactly. Shit, that's so good. I don't want to run into Pyre Moss in the bathroom. No, there's just in my experience of all my years of flying, and I'm sure you can attest to this, and I'm sure some of the listeners can as well. When it comes to overhead bin space, it's sort of every man for himself within reason. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna do something crazy.
Every them for themselves. You get in, you get out.
I was there. I was putting my bag up, and I put it over this guy's seat, and he scoffed at me with a French accent, and I was like, "Oh, do you need this?" And he's basically like, "Yes, bitch." And so I take my bag out for him to put his fucking cheap jacket up there because it was directly over his seat. So he thought he took ownership, which I think if it was a bag situation, of course. But I think both things could have fit, but he wanted to exercise his power over me.
How cheap was this jacket?
I mean, it would look. I didn't see much.
Definitely not a fine Loewe garment, is what you're
No,
saying.
no. It just I was just like, dude, your jacket. Also on Air France, they give you a hanger for your jacket. Like you could have just
that
hung.
was a nice touch.
You could have just hung the jacket up. You know what I mean? It's not. It was a whole thing. But he knew he knew that I wasn't feeling it. And then he tried to backpedal, and I was like, no, bro, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
I found a place. I found a place for my stuff. Don't worry about me. I'm trying to settle in and watch this fucking Love Is Blind finale. So just get out of my hair, nerd.
How were you able to watch the Love Is Blind finale on the flight? Did you have it saved on your iPad?
On my iPhone, yeah. I haven't used the in-flight entertainment system in a very long time. If I'm gonna watch anything, which is rare, I have it downloaded before I get on the plane.
You watch that shit on your phone?
Yeah, I don't care. It's
Damn,
not like it's
retro.
not like it's fucking. It's not Steven Spielberg. I don't need to see Love Is Blind in 70 millimeter.
I know, but you got to be there on the plane holding your phone the whole time like a goofy. No shade.
I would say it's goofier to be an adult man with an iPad with a little stand.
But you're hands free. You're
That's
eating
true.
the trois fromage
I have to wait till I
effortlessly.
wait till I finally get a pop socket. It's over for you hoes when I get a pop socket.
Yeah,
that's a risk.
I was in the Air France lounge, just kind of soaking it up. They had some nice offerings up in there, but I was sitting next to these two women who are on the flight as well, actually. So I don't want to. I'm not making fun of them, but it was just they were two women who were, doing something right in the world. They're sitting first class, LAX to Paris for Fashion Week, and they were going over the Hinge profile and how the numbers weren't numbering.
Do you mean, hold on, do you mean they were going over one of their Hinge profiles or a fella?
One of their profile. One of them was married or in a relationship. The other one was single, and she looked like a normal, well-to-do woman, had the fucking Veneta bag. Like she wasn't no random fucking street urchin. And she's like, yeah, the Hinge is dry. I'm not getting any hits. And she was, showing her Hinge profile to her friend, being like, what do you think, Doc? What can we do to bring this thing back to life? And
Okay.
And she's like, well, I would maybe rotate this one with this one. And she was like, yeah, I shot all new digitals this week and uploaded them. I included a photo of me holding a fish as like a little joke because like there's always guys holding fish
nice.
on the thing.
Yeah, that's nice.
And she does the whole spiel and she's like, I got no hits, got no bites at all. And it was hard to sit there quietly and not, offer my mystery method assistance on how to like get my Steve Harvey on how to date.
Yeah.
I wanted to Steve Harvey these ladies, but I resisted. But I just felt bad of like the only thing to do nowadays is just, well, I guess I'll rotate the photos on my Hinge profile to see if one of these perverts, sends me a 4 a.m. message and hope for the best, for finding my dream man.
It's
tough out there.
If you got to engineer it, I mean, I guess it's like anything else. If you want it to perform, you got to, analyze it.
I know, but it's just such a weird, it almost feels like, boost this ad, targeted marketing, you have a marketing team and you're going out there and you're seeing what the conversion rate is and, there's no romance. There's no lust. There's no
about that, bro.
There's no
That's
cum.
about I got to get locked down now before I get to
Where to come at? Yeah, I guess
too
you're
old.
right.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
I didn't mean to. That was my sexy red impression. Yeah, where the hoochie daddies at? Where to come at? Okay. Also, speaking of cum, Equinox replaces the Grown Alchemist with Le Labo as its global amenities partner.
Look, I'm proud of my Equinox family.
Fellas, is it gay to have a global amenities partner?
I'm proud of my Equinox family for making this change. We talked about this earlier. I think they should have gone back to Keels. Keels is like the diptyque, the standby, the tent pole, the OG.
Mm-hmm.
I think Le Labo is fine. I said to you, I think Grown Alchemist unfortunately has the airport Delta stink on it from being the Delta partner, and I think you don't want to be reminded of that while you're getting ready to go make some trades at Goldman, at 6 a.m. I don't think it feels as good.
The stink of a Delta partner. We've all been burned by that, haven't we?
We've all been burned. All right, we have a guest.
I think it's a step in the right direction, but yeah, we have a guest today.
Tom Junod is a writer who has a new book out, a memoir.
One of the best titles of a memoir ever, and the artwork, it feels like a Smith song. In the days of my youth, I was told what it means to be a man. a memoir.
So good.
Great title.
But he's written several classic profiles for Esquire and GQ, et cetera, et cetera. He lives in Atlanta, which, I'm going to get into some traffic stuff with him, no question.
ATL. Oh, okay.
ATL. All right, let's get Tom on the line.
ATL, man.
Okay, slow down.
Here's my question. So I'm here in the house with my dog, who's totally going to make an appearance here. And I want to know if that's okay with you, or do you want me to go out to my car? But I've done many an interview in my car, man.
No, it's fine. It's fine as long as the dog's not too crazy.
He's not that crazy.
When you say, what do you mean by your dog is going to make an appearance on this podcast, this audio only podcast? A little ominous of a warning, and I'm interested in hearing more.
So he's a shelter dog that we've had a year. He's a pit bull. And sometimes, he can just launch himself into just the most frenetic barking ever. And you guys will know it's going to be a big one because he actually inhales beforehand. You hear him go,
it's going to be a big one.
And then when you hear the inhale, it's going to be a big one.
Okay,
so
listen,
we'll see how we do.
We'll keep our ears peeled for the inhale then.
Just, I have the dog anti-dog technology turned on for the Zoom workplace meeting. So we should really use AI technology to eliminate your dog's breathing.
Okay. And here he is. He just ate. We did an incomplete play session, but he's here.
Incomplete play session. All right. Tom, first of all, before we get started, your username here on Zoom is perpetual punctuation. Is that an LLC? Is that an LLC or is that a mantra?
No, that is so every time I get like a piece of technology, I name it like I think that there was I think I usually name it after parts of speech.
Okay.
Okay. So infinite. One was infinite elephant, and that's not a part of speech. But then there's like sort of like perpetual punctuation, semicolon, infinity, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She was so good in the new Leo movie, wasn't she?
She was so good.
That is okay. Star. That's a very interesting naming convention that you've adopted. Real twisted mind. We got going
Tom,
on
is it safe to say you're a quirked up man?
I'm deeply quirked up.
Okay.
And this is everybody else just wants to talk about craft or whatever. You guys want to talk about the quirks, which is good.
I could care less about the craft, to be honest with you.
I don't even know what craft is.
It's a Tom Colicchio restaurant, but otherwise I don't know.
Exactly. So where are you guys right now? Are you in Paris?
We literally got to Paris this morning.
Fantastic. Okay, so you know what my dog's name is?
What is it?
Toulouse?
Jacques.
Oh, wow. Okay, so
yeah.
So you have a French bulldog.
Un petit pitbull.
I do. Well, because he's a pit bull who has ears like a French bulldog. Hence, Jacques.
You're talking like a real dog guy. This ain't your first. This ain't your first rodeo.
It ain't my first rodeo. I'm a total dog guy.
How many dogs have you had? I don't want to bring up sore subject.
No, it's not a sore subject. I've had my wife and I have had as adults, as a married couple, we have had 6 dogs.
Okay, these are all one at a time, and they've moved on to a better place.
One at a time. We made they've all moved on to a better place. We made the mistake once of having 2 dogs. And they were I don't know if you've ever heard of the breed Cane Corso. It's sort of it's like an Italian Mastiff
Corso Como
cross pit bull breed. And they're exactly. And they're they can be rough, and everybody was like, "Oh, you get 2 dogs. It's like half the work because they take care of each other." No, they fought each other, and so it was like it was dog work squared until, of course,
And you get twice the shits to pick up,
twice the
kibble to buy. The list goes on.
But then the neutering happened, so that made it a little bit better.
Okay,
you feel like a guy. All right, how far do you take it? Are you making your dog's food on the range?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No,
You're
no.
fine. That's where I draw the line.
I believe in kibble and cans.
Kibble and cans.
Yeah.
Is a man's best friend. Yeah, you do have a lot of dog pics on the Instagram, Tom.
I do,
which is sweet. It's nice.
Yeah. He's my guy.
Could I have you rank all of your dogs that you've had over the years? Just
Well, so Jacques is right here.
Yeah.
Do you really want me
That
to
doesn't
do
mean
that?
Jock's number one though.
I should. Well, Jog is he's the cutest dog that we've had, but he's also presents challenges. Our guy, we had a dog named Dexter, who was just kind of like the philosopher king of dogs.
Okay.
He was just a cool dog. He was like, he's like the Morgan Freeman of dogs. Like he plays God in the dog movie.
Okay.
So he was really good.
Wise beyond his years.
But Jocks is wild. Like you have to play with this guy. He's backing away from me now as we speak from this, and he's going to start to bark too. But no inhale. There he goes. If he starts to bark, I will go out to the car. Jacques, come here, buddy.
Yeah. So far we don't hear anything, so it's all good.
Oh no, that's right. You have the AI.
We have the technology.
Precisely.
So where? All right. So you live in Atlanta.
I live in Marietta, Georgia. I say Atlanta.
I'm from Atlanta. Well, Conyers specifically. My parents live in my parents
So
live
you
in
say-
Decatur. But Marietta has a lot of nice parks, right?
Parts or parks? What did you say?
No, it definitely has nice parks. I know them. There was plenty of rich girls in our sites growing up. But I mean the parks. I feel like there's a lot of dog walking capabilities. Is what I'm trying to say.
I guess.
Where you live?
I don't know. I've never done that.
What do you mean never done that?
Because I've never used the park.
Because your yard's so fucking big. Is that what you're trying to say?
Our yard is so fucking big.
Okay.
And it's got no grass. It's got all trees, and it opens onto a pond.
Oh, wow.
How did you end up? Okay, how did you end up in a suburb of Atlanta? If you don't mind me asking, I assume it was for love.
Yeah. I mean, but in this case, it was for love. It was for love of my brother Michael. So I was in when I got out of college, I was in Dallas, Texas. I was a handbag salesman, and then I lost that job.
What was your commission looking like? Neiman Marcus or somewhere else?
No, I had this huge territory. The territory was the American Southwest, and it was Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Arkansas.
I see wholesale.
I was a traveling wholesale.
Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't like the guy in the store. But yeah, I was a rep. And so I did that, and it was a disaster on like a couple of different levels. And then I lost that job, and my brother, who was a handbag salesman in Atlanta, said, "Come on and live with me." So I did that for a while, and that's what got me here. And I've been here for a long, long time.
So bag selling runs in the family is what it sounds like.
Handbags definitely, and salesmanship run in the family.
What kind of handbags are we talking about here, if you don't mind me prying?
So, ladies' handbags, number one. I didn't sell man bags. I sold handbags. So, my line was called Felipe.
Okay.
And it was for a little time, it was like a thing.
Okay.
But it was a very, very short time.
What was the price point on the bags?
I would say that they wholesaled in the 20s and sold at the time in the 50s or 60s.
Okay.
Okay.
Adjust for inflation,
Okay.
not bad. So, I'll check eBay for a nice Felipe, a nice gently worn Felipe.
The gently worn Felipe. I bought a bag on eBay last year just to sort of remind me where I come from.
Sure. You need to
Still got it after all these years.
You need to humble yourself with an eBay bag purchase.
No shit. Totally.
That's a good way. I feel like that's a pretty fun job for a young man, I have to say.
Oh, maybe it was. It was a crazy job. My boss was such a prick that I wrote 2 pages of physical description of him for the book that my editor cut out and saying, "This is no place for revenge and settling scores." So it was like a long physical description of this guy. It was like Dickensian.
I actually disagree. I think a memoir is the perfect place for that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's why I'm not your editor, but I guess that
he had to cut something, so he cut that.
Sure.
Was this gentleman fun to describe negatively? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he had his shoe size. His shoe size was 12 AAA. meaning that he essentially walked around on pencils.
All right, so
Okay, so that's so there. It's a ultra narrow,
which was the weirdest. Ultra narrow. You've never seen narrower feet than this guy, and he was a fat dude with this huge belly and he walked around on skates. It was crazy, and of course, and so I was in Dallas, and when he visited, he came in his special extra narrow cowboy boots, and I dream of that shit.
Extra narrow cowboy. I've only heard of extra wide.
Yeah.
I've never even thought about extra narrow.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
so it's long, but it's not girthy, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and he took perverse pride in his narrow feet. But anyway, you're getting to me.
Oh, okay, I see. He was like, I'm not gonna hide this. I'm out and proud.
Right, exactly.
I work hard for these dainty feet.
Yeah, I can respect.
Yes,
I
he
can
had
respect
dainty
that.
feet.
I can respect that.
Okay, well, did you pick up some good life lessons and tactics and manipulation interview skills in the commission sales world?
There was I think that a lot of people go to J school. I definitely went to handbag school.
Yes.
So and there's there really is something to walking up to a store, pushing a sample case, knocking on the door, and say, "Here I am." I mean, that was. I mean, what better prep for being a journalist than that?
No, I agree. I say all the time that kind of job is real training for life, no matter what you're going to do.
It's totally training for life. And now, so I've written, a book, and the whole thing about writing a book that people don't tell you is that, you write it in solitude, and then you got to like go out and just like sell the shit out of it. So like I wrote a book to sort of get away from being a handbag salesman. And now I'm a handbag salesman again, except that I have books.
Can I interest you in a memoir, size 12?
Exactly.
No, it's. I mean, I feel like that type of thing where you're knocking on doors of boutiques and trying to get them to buy bags wholesale. Your calluses of being told no.
Yeah,
must be very strong, and it's an amazing skill and life lesson to learn, especially early.
It's a great life lesson to learn. I mean, I remember being like it was like the end of the day. I was driving through some small town in Texas, and I stopped at a boutique. I stopped at like a dress store, and they had no idea I was coming. I had no idea I was stopping there. Walked in, and the two women, were just like watching TV in the back, and they didn't buy any bags, but they felt so sorry for me. I just like sat there watching TV with them at 5:00 in the afternoon at a dress store in like Natchitoches, Texas or something. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's a slice of life, as they say. I think a little bit.
It is.
It kind of feels like Marty Supreme a little bit, just saying.
It does. Do you want to hear like a great handbag story that I couldn't get in the book that also got cut?
We're balls deep in Fashion Week, Tom. Let's go.
Okay,
no better time than now.
So the salesman, my boss was just, he was a ruthless guy, the guy with the narrow feet, but he was like, he made a shit ton of money as a salesman. And one time this young woman with a store in College Station, Texas, came to my showroom in the apparel mart, and this guy Bert just like upsailed her all day long. He like pushed me away. Hey, kid, get out of here, because I got something to do.
Watch Bert cook.
Took her out to dinner, the whole thing. And like 2 months later, I'm about to go down to Houston, and I'm passing through College Station. Hey, Tommy, you're gonna go see Shayla's shoes? You got to pay her a visit. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll pay her a visit. And so I walk in there. It's a small store in College Station, Texas, and all it's full of is Felipe handbags. I mean, they were everywhere. They were on like top of the counters. They were hanging from the walls. And I asked for Shayla, the woman, and the people they said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Felipe." And they like looked at me, and they looked at each other, and they went into the back, and they took out this woman, a very young woman who had like aged over the time since I'd seen her last. And I said, "Oh, hi Shayla, how's it going?" And she like grabbed me and said, You've got to help me. They're everywhere. She goes, and I was like, "Well, you do have a lot of bags." And she goes, they keep on coming. I haven't even opened all the boxes yet. She goes like, you have to help me. You have to give me some, you have to give me some money. I have to return them. I have to. I'm going to go out of business. And then I said, well, let me check in. And so I went out front, and back then there was no cell phones. There was just right in the front, there was a payphone. So I called Bert. I'm looking in at this, this woman who's near tears inside on the other side of the glass. And I call him up and I was like, hey, Bert, this is the situation. She says she needs help. And he goes, Tommy, where are you? Like, I'm outside. He goes, how close is your car? And I said, it's right in front of me. He goes, all right, here's what you do. You get in it and you drive away. I was like, well, she's like crying inside. He goes, listen to me. You get in it and you drive away. And that's what I
have to side with Bert. I have to side with Bert on this.
That's what I did. I got in it and I drove away.
I would want to have sympathy, but you knew what game you were getting into.
Yeah. So that's my like, handbag day story.
That's a great job, man. That's I would say better than writing, honestly. At least there's I feel like there's
but I was also a fanatic writer. I have all these Felipe business cards that are filled with like microscopic print of like moments when I would, the sun would be setting and I would stop to describe it. And on these, like, I mean, you can't, the print is so small on these business cards, you can't even read it.
You've got entire chapters written on the back of a Felipe business card?
Totally.
Illegible to even you.
Yes, illegible to even me.
Well, I mean, we talk a lot about magazines here on the podcast. And also in our lives, and I think the world is now debating the end, as they always do, but I feel like you did, anytime we get someone on How Long Gone that experienced the heyday of the sort of 10,000 word, take as long as you need type time period. How luxurious was it, or did it not feel like that at the time?
I mean, you didn't know it was going to end.
Sure.
So, it didn't feel like, oh, I have this fleeting luxury here. It felt like it was going to, last forever. And
magazines, baby, top of the world.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, so when you art, I worked for GQ from 93 to 97. And, you'd go back into, the editor-in-chief was this guy, Art Cooper. And you went into his back off at 5 o'clock, he would start drinking. And if you were, on the in with Art, you would start drinking too. He would invite you back. And you felt like, it felt like he was King Arthur and you were Sir Lancelot, and you were the knight that went out there to, come back with these crazy stories. And I mean, the luxury, of course, was not just the length or the time or the resources. The luxury was like, you could take crazy, crazy chances, and God knows I took enough of them. But I would, you were able to write what you wanted to write. You got paid incredibly well. But, but I got to say that it, that kind of, that hasn't like totally ended for me, because after I left Esquire, I went to ESPN, where I still am able to write at length and write about, sort of odd subjects. I mean, I was able to write in 2022. I spent a year with another reporter. There he goes. Did you hear the inhale?
No.
On that bark?
No.
Can you not hear him barking?
No,
Are you
no,
really
no.
That's unbelievable. I want that.
Zoom has very good noise canceling technology, believe it or not.
I want that. You got to get that. I'll just go through life with that. And then it's
Zoom headphones.
And then it can be
Zoom headphones.
Yeah.
I can add in some barking in post if you'd like. Don't worry.
No, I totally don't want you to have the barking, and just to prove that can happen. But anyway, so when I was in 2022, I wrote a 32,000 word story for ESPN about a Penn State player from my hometown who was like an horrific serial rapist.
Wow.
That was protected by Joe Paterno. So I mean, I'm able to do stuff, but yeah, no one saw the end
Yeah.
coming. And and we were also dumb in the beginning, that when people when the internet was sort of came into being in the early 2000s, late 90s, it was like, oh, this is great, everybody's going to be able to see our stuff now.
Yeah, sure. You didn't
Yeah.
realize. I mean, I think that just you talking about that story, I feel like sports is for whatever reason one of the last places where that can happen.
Yeah, I
I
agree
feel
with
like that. I feel like sports fans are the most dedicated, and we talk about this a lot. Like my friend Ryan does that. It's a series called Untold on Netflix.
Yeah.
They have that Lamar Odom documentary coming out.
Right.
And I was talking to him about it, how I don't care about sports at all, but I will watch all of that and I will read a 32,000 word story about it without ever having to care about the team or the score or the stats. And I think that's a
that
strange
story was widely read. It's crazy. I mean, it was really widely read.
And it seems niche in some ways. It does seem niche, maybe on the surface.
It turned out, it turned out not to be. The thing that's interesting though is, like, so that was 2022. Would that still be super widely read in 2026? Because a lot of stuff has changed even since 2022. Things are going really fast.
If you read the really bad parts on TikTok, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know if people are going to ESPN. No, I know what you're saying. I mean, I think that like that. I think sports just contains so many layers. But you're right. I wonder if it's even only a few years removed, if that would still capture the same amount of eyeballs.
Right.
It took a year.
Almost, yeah. We did. It was me and Paula Levine, who's just an ace, investigative reporter, and we had to break through a lot of walls to get to it. We had, miraculous finding of documents. The documents had all been destroyed, and how we found them was just the craziest thing. I went to talk to. There was a judge who was a prosecutor who prosecuted this guy, Todd Hodney, when he finally killed somebody. And he became a judge. But he thought that Hodney was so dangerous that he kept the files on his own in his office in case.
Oh shit! Like, I know something bad's gonna happen, so I need to have these.
Yes, exactly. Like, so if this guy is ever close to getting out of jail, I'm gonna, show these files to people. And he showed them to me.
Damn.
And it was an amazing experience. It was a total miracle,
The smoking gun.
Smoking gun.
Okay,
man.
so you're a real gumshoe, is what I'm gathering here.
I can do that, It's the
Look, it's not my favorite thing, but I can do it if I need to.
I can do it. And the handbag thing definitely offered me some training.
Kudos to your journalistic integrity as well, and doing all that work. Do you think we're entering a post-integrity world in the world of journalism, or just essay writing or opinion writing?
I mean, I think that I think that journalism is trying to hang in there with just the sheer amount of lying that goes on in the public sphere. I mean, it's
difficult.
Has there ever been a better time to be a liar?
Chris and I say it all the time, where, like, as dumb as it is, let's say you get your wife sees your phone and you've been texting all these girls and cheating on her the whole time, and you could just say, oh, that's just AI, somebody made that on Photoshop or whatever, and like, it kind of works nowadays. It's like plausible enough to keep a liar going a long way.
Yeah, because if you swim in a sea of lies, are they lies? It's if that's the medium that you exist in, and I don't mean medium as in like in terms of like television. I mean medium in terms of air.
No, and if the lie is true and nobody seems to give a shit either way, then that also makes it, just like, is it real? Is it fake? It doesn't matter. The answer doesn't really matter anymore because we'll all forget about it.
That's what I was. Yeah, that's.
I can't wait for the Liar Liar remake as an inspirational film.
Jim Carrey's Liar Liar.
Yeah, Jim Carrey's Liar Liar.
Jim's got other problems to worry about right now, like his face. But he'll get to it eventually. No, I mean, I think we are in a post-truth society for sure. But I think that, like, do you really think that like a majority of people have a hard time deciphering real from fake on the internet?
Absolutely. Yeah, I do.
But do you think it's? I guess what groups of people do you think that particularly affects, or do you think it affects all of us?
Well, I think that everybody likes to look at the other guy as the guy who is credulous.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Hold on one second. I'm getting Big Jock up on the couch here. Here he is. That'll slow down the barking. But anyway, yeah, I think everybody looks at the other guy that's credulous until, you look at your own, tailored, fine-tuned sites. And, I listen, I get a lot of liberal, I'm on Bulwark and, all the rest of that kind of stuff. And I don't know how much of it is true. I mean, a lot of, I've been hearing on those sites for like 8 years that, we're going to get him now. Trump is raised in our sights, and the guy is, he's Roadrunner. He just sneaks out of it. So
yeah,
I don't know. I feel manipulated all the time. I like to think that I'm not
susceptible,
credulous, that I'm susceptible, that I'm a very, very discriminating news consumer, but I have really no idea if that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean. I think you're right. It's easy to assume that you got it and others don't.
Yeah.
It's a thing that you're a little bit older than us, so you might have some more insights, but it's a thing that I worry about when everyone talks about like my grandpa got scammed out of his retirement, or home equity loan and fucked it all up, or just believing that a photoshopped image of Fox News is real when it's not, or AI footage of bombs being deployed in Kuwait or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have a good sense of knowing if something is real or not, and I have a keen eye, but I know that at some point in my life I will become too old and the technology will sort of wash over me and I will not be able to discern it anymore, and that's a scary thing.
It's definitely a scary thing.
To somebody who's grown up on the internet their entire life and has sort of mastered it in some ways.
So I know two people that have gotten successfully defrauded over the last year. Yeah. One was old, and one was young.
Smart people,
and the
successful smart people.
Yeah, and the thing that's weird about now is, like, with all the scams and the fraudsters out there, it's not neutral. I mean, they're coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you just have to sort of like fall into it. I mean, they are actively trying to defraud you. I get, there's nothing more terrifying than looking at your junk mail. It's like, holy shit. Hi, Tom. We've been watching you, and we have pictures of it. It's the weirdest thing, and it's of course I know it's not true, but at the same time, it's just like the fact
I didn't even go to the island.
Exactly.
They got nothing on me.
Exactly.
I swear to God.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it was just a layover.
You're right. I could see how at a certain point you start to be like, wait a second, was I there?
Right.
Hold on.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we all will fall victim to it eventually as the technology gets. But I do think there's going to be, at least maybe in some forms of media, a swing back to the analog, for lack of a better term. I think I
like my vinyl.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen to Steely Dan on vinyl and Marietta is a that's a small step for mankind.
I'm going to do that right after we get off.
There we go.
I just mean, I think that like the way that those kind of things get fetishized, even the way like magazines are to some extent by young people, whether it's tapes or vinyl or whatever. I think the next thing is literally going to be like going outside.
Yeah.
Like not being on your phone is the real luxury.
Right.
Versus these more specific things that you're actually buying. It's like opting out is the luxury, but as opposed to like buying in.
Opting out from AI is going to be the luxury item in 10 years.
I mean, we talked about this a little bit, but I think that like it's also going to Do you think it is possible it can make blue collar jobs much more desirable?
Yes, all of it, everything that you're thinking about, that I think is true.
That I'm interested in.
And I don't even know what you're thinking about it, but I think it's true.
Yeah, I just mean like the idea that like a plumber is the job that people want now because they make money and it's secure, versus like a crypto trader with a penthouse in Miami, because that's all, that could all crumble at any minute.
So car mechanics have always had you at their mercy. Now there's going to be like car mechanics in like every field, just like waiting to like, oh, I know how to fix this.
Yeah, you're right. Car mechanics actually one of the best. That's the best example of that. I can't think of another one that's that long standing.
Right.
And cars are just computers now.
Exactly. And wait till cars, are completely AI. And people no longer know how to drive.
That's when those reporters' cars just randomly hit a tree sometimes. You know what I mean? You start digging too deep, brother.
So one of the weirdest things about being in Atlanta now and going downtown, I was down yesterday, like around like 10th Street, somewhere around
the
there.
Midtown area.
And the Waypro cars are there. And I was like, one time I was like crossing the street, and I was in the car that was coming up to the stop sign was a Waypro car. I was like, please don't kill me.
The Waymo will become, like in LA, it's so common practice that you sort of just you don't notice it anymore. And I think Atlanta will be the same, because in LA, Jason, aren't they going on the highway now? I heard.
Yeah, they're starting to go on the freeway now in LA. I'm sort of two minds. I'm with you. When it first started appearing, it was like a novelty, and then you also I didn't trust it or believe it or anything like that. And nowadays, I feel a little safer around the Waymo than the average driver, with one phone, hand on the phone, hand on the wheel, sort of driving, sort of not.
Sure.
But I mean, it's all bad and it's all weird.
But here's my question. Have you guys taken a Waymo?
I have not, no.
Yeah, I have a few. I mean, in LA, definitely. In San Francisco, it's even more prevalent, obviously. So a couple times there.
The main argument that people have for why they're taking it seems to be so they don't have to have a conversation or smell another human being or breathe the same air as them.
But the thing is, like, I love the conversation.
No, me too.
Sorry, guys.
I am the Uber guy talker. That's what I do.
You and Jason both. My fucking nightmare.
Every time I get into the back seat, I mean, and sometimes I have like great conversations.
Sometimes you strike gold.
I think that's real. I honestly, the smell is more my issue. The Waymo smells extremely new car.
Have you talked to anybody about that?
I talk about it 3 times a week on the show for free. Howlonggone.com is the website. No, but I understand both sides of it. I think you take it as a novelty, and then you realize how easy it is, and you're kind of like, this is funny.
Yeah.
But I do think overall, as a sort of impending doom signaler, it is scary in that sense.
Yeah. I just don't understand the advantage of it. I don't understand the advantage of sitting in the backseat of a car with like nobody in the seat. It's just too weird for me.
And also, whenever I take an Uber, it's a fucking Escalade, bro. I don't want to get in some little Hyundai white Jaguar.
Exactly.
It's a Jaguar
with your initials on the top. That's just
I like that.
In the little
That's
code.
fun. It's personalized.
It's so pitiful. It's so sad.
You guys, Jason's talking a lot. Look,
yeah, Chris, you are pitiful.
The problem with Uber that we've said a million times is you have to pay for the fucking Escalade for it not to smell bad, and that's the problem. And a Waymo, you get it's the same price across the board, and it smells like a new car. Because no one lives in it.
So we're back to the smell. I was trying to give you an out.
No, the smell. No, the smell is my issue. The smell is my number one issue, I would say.
That is clear.
In many ways. How often are you making the trek down 85 from Marietta to Atlanta proper? Where are you guys going to eat?
Yesterday I went to Xi'an Famous Foods.
Oh yes, of course.
Yeah, the place on 10th. It's killer.
Okay, so you're going to the city once a week?
No, I went to the city yesterday. I had to do an interview for the book, and so I was right around the block from Xi'an, so that's where I went.
And what's up? You worked at Atlanta Magazine too, right?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. Does it still exist?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
How do you think it's doing?
I don't know. They did a story about me and I haven't seen it yet. So I don't know.
You're like, I'm withholding judgment until this story
Exactly
comes
right.
out. I'll let you know how they're doing financially if my story is good. I'll be able to.
But okay, so the weird thing about Atlanta magazine, and I think it sort of bespeaks the problem of magazines in general, it's no longer on the rack on the checkout aisle of Publix.
Yeah. You got to go to atlantamagazine.com.
That's a problem that it's no longer there, because it's been there for as long as I've been in Atlanta. And now it's like those special issues of National Geographic.
They only have fake magazines at Publix
Taylor
now.
Swift magazine.
Yes, the Taylor Swift one, or a sort of a yet another take on Jesus.
Yet another take on Jesus might be specifically Publix in the South, but you're right. It's a
that's a pretty good it's a pretty good podcast name, guys. I just gave that to you.
Yeah, the March issue of Pro Life Monthly is a great one. You got to pick it up.
Yeah.
Get that at any local Publix if you're doing your shopping.
You might be able to get a gardening gun down there still, though.
You can get a gardening gun.
You can definitely get gardening gun, but it's not on the checkout rack.
You're saying you have to subscribe. Basically, there's nowhere to.
You have to subscribe, or you have to or go to the magazine section of the Publix, rather than it being right there next to the candies.
I gotta say, there's nothing more depressing than a magazine section at Publix. It's
nothing
more
depressing. I mean,
it's like shit. It's shit you cannot believe exists next to stuff that you can't believe still exists. Kind of is the combination.
And a shocking number of gun magazines at the Publix.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's the same thing as buying a car magazine if you're into cars. I find it all a little strange, but people have hobbies, and I don't want to shame them for that.
I don't want to shame them for it either. I'm just saying that you go to Publix and you think that you're going to see you think you're going to go to see Harper's or the Atlantic or whatever, and it's like Guns and Ammo Annual.
Yeah, no, Guns and Ammo Annual is definitely selling more in a Publix in Marietta than an issue of the New Yorker. That's for sure.
That's the truth.
They got Men's Fitness up there, just not the Kumail issue. You know what I mean? We don't play that down here in Georgia.
We don't play that. We don't play that down here. So are you excited to be sort of promoting this memoir? Like, are you finding it fun to do this side of things?
Yeah, I am. And it definitely brings out the old, business salesman in me.
But you're saying you can slip back into that mind frame when it's time.
I thought, every time I think I'm out, they get me back in. It's the Godfather 3 speech.
They drag you.
I'm back to selling. And the cool thing about it is I think that the book is good. I think that the memoir is good. And the thing that I dreamed of when I was a handbag salesman was like one day writing a book. I mean, I was literally writing on the backs of business cards just to keep, sharp, or to prove that I could do it or whatever. And if somebody told me back then, when I was driving on Highway 20 from Dallas to Shreveport to sell bags, that I was going to have, a book out 40 plus years from then, I just got to say, you got to be kidding me. But here it is. So I feel pretty good. I feel pretty vindicated, to tell you the truth.
Do you feel glad that you don't have to write a book again, or now do you have the bug? And
all I want to do is write another book. The last, it took me. So this thing was hard. It took me 9 years because, number one, I didn't know how to do it. Number two, there was something I was out to find, that I had to find before I finished it. But like the last 6 months of that thing, I was just racing. It was just the coolest thing. So I want that again. I don't want the not knowing how part, but the I got this part was freaking great.
You want to skip the learning how to surf part and go straight to the
bending over in the curl,
cruising the fucking waves. So, well, I mean, it seems like you do have the gift of gab, and you can just go. Have you thought about pivoting to the world of podcasting a little bit? I noticed that your voice and the way you talk kind of reminds me of Michael Lewis.
Really?
Have anyone ever told you that before?
No, nobody. Go tell me more. Michael's done well.
He has done well. I mean, he'll do kind of companion podcasts to stuff that he's done. So there's a Big Short podcast, and he'll have other sort of investigative, interesting little
Yeah.
kind of pod things. But I don't know, your voice just really reminds me of him, and I guess you guys are
That's
a couple
interesting.
of peas in the pod. But
We're definitely some peas in a pod. I've
yeah,
only met Michael once, but I mean, he's obviously
yeah.
great and has really, he's figured out the whole narrative thing like extraordinarily well, and I admire him. So,
Mm-hmm.
but listen, but I have a question to ask you guys
Yeah.
about the pod.
Please,
Sure.
please.
I hope you don't take it. I hope you don't take it wrong.
Oh, here we go.
Is it easy?
No, that is a good question. I mean, easy's maybe the wrong word. But I think it.
Don't dodge the question, Chris. Don't dodge the question. Come on.
But I just think it's not. I don't think it's easy because of. I think that the problem with podcasting in general is that that's how people look at it. And that's why so many celebrities, that's why so many people stop and start podcasts because they think it's easy.
Right.
I would say that
Right.
my job as like doing all the booking is easier than Jason's job, which is doing all the editing. But
Right.
that's just us sort of leaning into our skill sets as well. I mean,
Yeah.
Jason, would you say it's easy or do you just like it so it feels easy most of the time?
It really is a 10,000 hours kind of thing of
Right.
It's easy for us to do it because we talk a lot to each other and we're able to, if it's easy for anyone whose podcast sounds exactly how they sound when they're talking to their friends off mic, off record. It's the people. I think it's very difficult for people who are, they speak openly one way off record, and then when the podcast mic gets turned on, then you have to sort of transform and metamorphosize into whatever you think a host of a podcast is, and that can be draining and it can be difficult. And if you really are trying hard to do a good job and not mess up, it's only a matter of time until you're fucked. So you really need to be okay with like sounding like an idiot a lot and making mistakes and not caring.
So you guys have done something, and I'm not just kissing your ass. You guys have done something really interesting in that you make conversation, sort of average seeming conversation, attractive and something that people want to check into.
Yeah,
all that stuff.
I think that we're living in a time where we have podcasts, we have music, we have information and news and all these different types of media to consume, and there's a lot. It's an anxiety overload, and I think nothing is more calming and relaxing while you're walking the dog or riding the subway or driving to work in Atlanta traffic than just two people who seem to legitimately be friends having an enjoyable conversation. What it's about, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's your brain truly does turn off and you hit like a meditative state, I believe.
Yeah. So when I meant easy, I meant not like easy to succeed in, because I don't think it's easy to succeed in. But I mean, just sort of, writing is hard. Like the psychological wear and tear.
Yeah, for some people, but it's not that hard for me. I'm just kidding.
But
sorry to hear that.
The shit that you put yourself through as a writer is, every writer that I meet, that I know, it's just like sort of crazy. I'm good friends with Seth Wickersham, my ESPN colleague, and he's always like, "No way to make a living, man." And, that's Seth's motto.
I would say it's much easier than that. I will say that.
Yeah, I think that being a good podcaster, and it is a lot of work and it can be hard, but I've never heard the word excruciating be used when describing the labor of creating a podcast.
Right.
And I hear it. Every writer has
almost
said that
exclusively
word.
about
that's
writing.
That's a good day. Excruciating is a good day.
No writer, nobody's like that. I mean, even when you said the last 6 months, I had fun because I was like in the zone. I was locked in. It was working. It's like I barely even hear shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's like the most positive version of it.
More like 6 hours.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, 6 hours. But this was 6 months.
What were you waking up and just going at it, or did you have a different kind of schedule?
Man, I would wake up, because I spent some time. We have a house up in Shelter Island on Long Island, and I went there by myself for a while. And I would just every day I would wake up around 7. Go out to the shed and just, I would write 2,000 words, over the course of the day. And then at night I would come in and like watch a TV show or a series, go to bed 12:30 and then just do it every single day like that. It was pretty great.
That sounds pretty good and reasonable.
It was.
You know?
It was definitely reasonable. But of course, I was living in complete seclusion, and didn't have to. Didn't even have a dog at the time. Dexter had died. It was before we got Jock. So it was.
Hell no! So you were really
no
alone.
time for a dog. Who was the person that you would call to sort of help unearth some of this info that you sort of remember, but the really good stuff you had to call, a friend or a sibling or something?
I mean, there was definitely some people who, helped me through this crazy stuff. But my wife Janet being, I'd say central there.
Shout out to Janet.
She knew the story. She had, we'd been together since we were kids. And so she knew a lot of the story, and
okay.
But I think that the way it's presented in the book was also new to her, because there's there's a lot of details, and it's told as one continuous story rather than as a series of semi-randomized discoveries.
Yeah, you don't have chunks and chapters.
Yeah.
That sounds like that sounds like an idyllic way to do it. Obviously, after 9 years, you deserve that 6 months.
Yeah.
You earned it. But
totally well earned, no doubt.
What's up with your shed though? What's the vibe? Because I feel like you're underselling it when you call it a shed.
No, so it was a shed. The guy, when we bought the house, the shed was definitely one of the selling points. But for years, and I'm talking about like a long time, it was the kind of thing where, I mean, it was so nasty that was the kind of thing where people would go, "Oh, Tom, I can't wait to see your writing shed," and then people they'd see it and perhaps smell it, Chris, and turn around, and flee, because it was just it spoke of such desperation. And so a few years ago, I did fix it up a little bit, and
we did a small renovation ourselves, or we brought in some help.
No, I brought in a guy. I don't.
Okay,
I can't renovate. I have no skills in that way.
I didn't think you did, but
yeah.
So it's not a man cave, but there's no more.
It's not a man cave.
No more leaks and things like that.
It's just not as creepy as it was. It was creepy for a while.
My question: is there a bathroom?
No.
Okay. This is a shed then. For some reason, bathroom would elevate it above bathroom, shed level.
Yeah. There's not even something to heat up the hot water. There's not even one of those little machines. There's not that.
It's nothing but a typewriter and a roach clip out there, huh, buddy?
Yeah. And a lot of exactly.
Exactly.
Typewriter and a roach clip. I can see that. But is there at least a great view?
No.
Okay. All right.
It's not nearly as picturesque as you're imagining, Chris.
The view that he's looking for is called Google Docs.
Correct? Yeah. The only doc.
Yeah, actually, what software do you use to write, if I may ask?
So I use the worst. I use the worst software.
Microsoft Word.
I use Pages.
What?
Apple Pages.
Who the fuck uses that?
I'm the only Apple Pages
Interesting.
guy. Okay, and so here's the other thing that I'm the only guy who still buys music on iTunes. I don't stream
because you want to own it.
I
boomer.
buy the song for $1.29.
My boomer king. All right, so do you keep them all on a hard drive? What the fuck you doing with it?
Well, they're on my computer, and I keep on buying more space on my computer. And plus, I use something called iTunes Match, which which allows you to use the stuff that you buy and that's on your hard drive goes out into the streaming space, into the digital space via iTunes Match. And I'll bet you there are 10 people still using this, and I'm one of them.
Interesting. Okay, so you're saying iTunes Match is a service that basically mirrors the music you own into streaming versions, so you can have it with you in the car and shit.
Yes.
So you could all of your old CDs that you've ripped into MP3s, put on your computer.
Yes,
and then
all of it.
I didn't even know that. I've never even heard of iTunes Match, and I have a lot of MP3s.
Not to stunt.
Yeah, so there really are 10 of you. It's only days until this service gets discontinued, I assume, right?
Or they should give me some kind of award.
Yeah, you guys either shut this whole thing down or give me a metal trophy that says.
But also, the Lifetime Achievement Award of iTunes. But also some of the good, the pro AI, vibe coding situations is as soon as that program is sunsetted, as they say,
Yeah.
you can just, type it into Claude and it'll just make that app for you again in whatever color you want and whatever, for your phone or your laptop or whatever.
And just to fuck with me, they'll subtly change the music.
Yeah, it's got to be just a little different. Same artist,
Just
different
a
song.
little,
It's
just a little different, a little version, a little,
It's all the remastered versions, but they sound worse.
They sound worse.
I've never heard of this either. And this is a monthly fee.
No, it's a yearly fee, I think.
All right, we're gonna check. We're gonna look into this because this does feel like. So I know. I guess Jason and I probably know. I think because of our interest areas, we probably know a lot of people that buy music still. I would say maybe not on iTunes.
Do you? Okay. But you don't know anybody that uses iTunes Match.
No, I do not.
Never heard of it.
That's good.
And that is. And
I
I'm a DJ.
feel very special.
No,
man.
you are
Yeah.
the few, the proud. Have you considered downloading music illegally from these cool websites?
I used to go on these, like the music blogs back in the day when the music blogs posted MP3s. That was great.
Tell me more about it, Grandpa.
Yes.
That was great. You guys remember
So
2009? It was great. It was so cool.
Do you remember what music blogs you were on?
Oh, I do.
God.
I know what he was going to. Gorilla vs. Bear.
No,
No?
there were like all these cover sites that I used to go on.
Like cover songs.
Yeah, cover songs. That was one of them. Cover
songs. Go pull up some String Cheese Incident MP3s on cover songs, whatever it might be.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Like this, like String Cheese Incident version of like the Dead's playing in the band, and then it would have all of like. There was one site, God, I forget the name. It's a long time. But they'd have like one song covered by 10 artists, and I'd be the guy that downloaded all of.
Are you a jam band guy at heart?
No, definitely not. I'm definitely geese over goose.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
We might see goose.
We might see Geese tomorrow in Paris. I can't decide I don't know what our time is going to be, Jason, but there's an offer. They're on at 9.
So geese is really, they have a thing, right? Which is super great. And very few bands can get away with it, which is that you don't know if it's good or bad. I love that.
It's one of the most powerful things you can be.
Exactly. Exactly. Pull that off.
I mean, I think that being polarizing is a real currency in our attention economy.
Absolutely.
What are some other musical artists or bands that fit that category as well?
Well, so
can't tell if they're good or bad.
I am wearing, because I thought that there's a chance that this might actually be a video thing. So I'm wearing my Nick Cave Idiot Prayer t-shirt right now. Now, I don't think that you can think that anybody can think that like Nick Cave is bad because he's the man. But I think that I can definitely see
it's polarizing musically.
It's definitely polarizing musically. I can see plenty of people not liking Nick very much, including my wife Janet, who
sure.
She's away. She just left right before you guys checked in. She just went away for girls' weekend, and so I'm gonna right after we get off.
Tom's letting him hang this weekend.
Steely Dan and Nick Cave are gonna go on that turntable.
All right. So what? All right. What do we do? Yeah. All right. Wife's out of town. We're in Marietta. What do we going into the cellar for something nice and cranking up geese? What's the plan?
I live in Marietta, so there is no cellar, man. There's a crawl space.
Okay. I was.
You got a couple steaks marinating in the fridge.
I wish I went to no, I don't. Okay. I don't. But I did go to Gian Famous, and I got an extra, takeout of noodles. So
okay.
So okay.
I'm gonna hit the Gian again tonight.
So your wife's going out of town, and you have some noodles in the fridge.
Some noodles in the fridge plan. Yeah.
Man, turn up, bro. Okay. Yeah. Well, we're really celebrating.
Speaking of food, you are a James Beard award-winning writer.
Yeah.
But you wrote an essay called "My Mom Couldn't Cook," so it wasn't necessarily.
That's right.
It seems like it wasn't an instructional recipe.
No, it wasn't.
Essay you were writing. It was something a little more emotional and deeper.
But I did I was on the board of the James Beard Journalism Committee for 5 years.
I'm sure that's an unpaid opportunity.
It was definitely unpaid.
Yeah. I mean, it's
what are your culinary bona fides, my friend?
I'm a wicked cook.
Oh,
Really good cook. I've been
okay.
cooking ever since I was a kid, and my parents went out to the track and left me with the steak. So I got good.
Okay.
Went out to
Um,
the track. Your parents were gambling on the ponies.
oh my God, did they love it?
That's a cool thing
Yeah.
for a couple to do, though. You know what I mean? I feel like that's usually one or the other, and usually the fella.
Cool-ish, I
Well,
would say.
I'm saying not. I'm saying
given how much money was lost, I wouldn't say that cool.
Chris likes that the family's doing it together versus
Yeah,
I gotta
I'm
go
an
hit the
optimist.
track,
Yeah,
get away
yeah.
from my bitch wife or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I usually think of it as I got to get away from my bitch wife behavior.
No, my
not
mom.
let's go down.
So my dad did many things to estrange himself from
Yes,
my
yes.
mom.
A whole book's worth.
A whole book's worth. But the track, man, she loved it. She was helpless. She loved the ponies, man.
Wow.
She just did.
That's okay. So she was the
Love it.
driving force behind the ponies.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
But she just liked it too, and a lot of the stuff that my dad did, she,
Did not like.
of course, or not even was not even privy to, but she definitely liked the ponies. And it was great because they used to argue about how to bet. And, my mom would go in, bet favorites, come home with $20. Dad would go bet long shots and lose 1,000. It was just like
Two different approaches to the same.
two different approaches, and yet even though my dad would lose 1,000, my mom would win 20. He had nothing but scorn for her style of betting.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, it doesn't matter who's right.
It's not bad.
It doesn't matter who's right or wrong.
What were their drinks? What were their horse track drinks?
Well, my mom didn't drink except maybe occasionally like a Dubonnet, like a dry sherry kind of thing.
Mm.
And dad was a Rob Roy, straight Scotch, martini, rum and coke guy. That was dad's.
That's a pretty good lineup.
That was
Diverse.
dad's big four. It was diverse, but it was seasonal. It was seasonal
Sure,
when
yeah,
it was.
yeah.
There was your winter drinks. The rum and coke was summer
Yeah.
and Christmas. Weirdly enough,
I feel like Scotch on the rocks feels like a drink that I have never seen anyone order in public. It's only on television.
Dad was definitely a Scotch on the rocks guy.
I feel like it's a different time period. It was much more popular, but now I only see it on like legal dramas after a long day.
I can't drink Scotch.
I never drank Scotch. I don't.
A little too peaty.
Yeah. It as my parents would say, it repeats on me.
It does. It's
It does.
My wife's dad drinks it a lot, and I gotta force it down, or else I look like a pussy in front of him. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I've definitely.
Yeah, that's why
I
you
know
look like a pussy in
exactly
front of
what
him.
you mean. I've definitely forced down the Scotch in my life, and then it repeats on me. So I just try to avoid it.
I'm not familiar with this phrase. Repeats on me.
It means that okay. So we're gonna go deep right now. It means that like when you belch, you can taste it.
Oh, okay. All right. That's enough.
And
That's quite enough.
And it's a little play on the words with the word "peat" and "repeat" in it. You know.
Yeah.
I got all that.
It's a double word score.
The next time I listen to How Long Gone, I want to hear you use repeats in a sentence.
All right, Professor Tom. I'll do my best.
Well, yeah.
I'll do my best.
After we record this pod, we'll kind of take a shower and go get some escargot and do a little repeating, and we'll let you know how it
Well,
goes.
that's right. You just flexed the France on me.
It's not a flex, sir. It's not a flex.
It's un petit flex.
Part of me would love to be in my backyard in Marietta looking at a pond. If a few things went the different ways, that could be me.
Right.
We're here to look at a fashion show. We're not here to dig ditches. I think
that's
things
true.
are gonna be just fine.
How's fashion these days?
Pretty good so far. I mean, we've only, in general, it's, I would say industry wise, maybe there's some shrinkage happening. But that's the nature of any.
There's the destruction of the middle class of fashion. It's only unattainable luxury items or hyper affordable cheap stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
That's the.
So what was
And then
what
vintage.
was the middle class?
Like
in men's clothing, what would have been the middle class? Like was I guess Xenia would be middle class,
no,
right?
Xenia's very high end actually. I mean, obviously they have stuff at different price points, but I think that nowadays Xenia's considered luxury price point wise.
Right. I remember when Xenia started moving up and started getting really expensive. And for a while,
I mean, that's-
it was pretty affordable.
Well, everything is now very expensive, is the reality.
Yeah.
And that's sort of, I mean, sometimes I forget that I'm in the vortex where this is like normal. You know, a button-up shirt costs $1,200, and I don't think that's
Wow.
like I have to remind myself that's crazy.
Our friend Rachel Tashin wrote a story recently, if the only people who go to fashion shows are like Mark Zuckerberg and stuff, like who are these clothes for at the end of the day, you know?
Especially when those guys have no sense of fashion whatsoever.
Hey, look, when you make enough money, you get hobbies. I'd rather him be wearing Prada than buying another, island in Hawaii.
Sure.
Or, doing some sort of damage to our culture at large. I think it's a pretty victimless crime, really.
Look, keep him front row in Prada so he doesn't have enough time to do ethnic cleansing.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Keep the guy busy.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Jason. Thank you.
Right.
Keep him busy.
Okay. You have made me see something.
We turned you around.
I like
quick.
that. You've turned me around.
All right, Tom. Thank you for joining us today on How Long Gone. Your new memoir is in stores everywhere. And Jason pointed out the title.
And what's the name of that memoir? We got to do a little promotion here.
In the days of we actually said it before in the intro, but I mentioned that the artwork on the cover as well as the title of the book is reminiscent of the Smiths for me.
Yeah, it's giving Smith song.
That is so cool.
It's a great title.
Of course, it's a Led Zeppelin song. But now you guys know this, right? You guys know that it's.
I didn't know that. I don't like Led Zeppelin. I've never.
In the days of my youth, I was told what it means to be a man. Yeah, it's that song. Yeah. There you go.
Okay. It does sound more like a Smith song but maybe that's because it's a book title.
Yeah, I love the fact that it's a Smith song. I want to hear it. I want to go to one of those old closed down MP3 cover websites that I used to frequent and hear a Smith's version of Led Zeppelin's Good Times, Bad Times.
I wonder if that exists.
Well, I will fire up the AI machine and get that on your desk by Monday, sir.
When you have Morrissey on,
I'll talk to Morrissey. I'll text Morrissey and see what he's doing. He's in the hospital again. All right, thanks, Tom.
Okay, guys, thanks a lot. It was a lot of fun.
Of course, man. We'll see you soon.
Our pleasure.
Later.
See you. Bye.